Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So this is going to be the part 2 of Ramadan and children. Today we're introducing everyone to the Islamic calendar. Last week, Imam Hassan introduced everyone to Ramadan and who is supposed to fast during Ramadan and the ages of the children who are supposed to fast and all the good things that we would get out of fasting during Ramadan. Can everyone hear me here? Voice is good? A little louder? Microphone? Okay. I could raise my voice a little louder, but okay. So inshallah today, the noise in the background. So today, inshallah, we're going to be talking about the Islamic calendar, the history of it, how the Islamic calendar started, and why the order of the months is the way it is in our Islamic calendar. So can anyone tell us what month are we in right now? What month are we in? We're in the month of Ramadan. Very good. Excellent. So that's the Hijri calendar. Someone else said a different month? March. Very good. Does anyone know what calendar that is? What is it? Not a lunar. That's the Hijri calendar. That is lunar. Very good. But what calendar is March? It's the third month. Very good. So it's the Gregorian calendar. So the Gregorian calendar is different than the Hijri calendar. So we actually have two different calendars. Our Islamic calendar is called the Hijri calendar, and that is because it starts from the Hijrah of the Prophet ﷺ, and we're going to go into details on how they decided to start an Islamic calendar and why did it start from the Hijrah of the Prophet ﷺ. So we're going to go ahead to the next one. So we're right now in the month of Ramadan, like you said, and Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. So if we count the months, Ramadan is going to be the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. And during Ramadan, as we explained last week, there's a lot of great things that we could do in Ramadan that would elevate us and inshallah bring us to Jannah, where we have palaces and everything that you could wish for in Jannah, inshallah. So Ramadan is a month in the Hijri calendar. It's not included in March, April, May. All of those are different. The Hijri calendar is different, and we're going to go over the months of the Hijri calendar. So let's talk a little bit about the Hijri calendar and how it started. Wouldn't that interfere with the voice online? No? Okay. Is this better? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how the Hijri calendar started. And the Hijri calendar actually did not start at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. The Hijri calendar started after the death of the Prophet ﷺ. And it was started by Umar ibn al-Khattab. And Umar ibn al-Khattab is the second best companion of the Prophet. Does anyone know who's the first best companion of the Prophet? His best friend. Who's the first best companion of the Prophet? Anyone knows? Abu Bakr, very good, excellent. So Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was the first best companion of the Prophet ﷺ. So he was the first one who took charge of the Muslims after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, and after Abu Bakr was Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. He was the second ruler of the Muslims after the Prophet. Now, during the time of the ruling of Umar ibn al-Khattab, he received a letter. And that letter was dated the month of Sha'ban. Now, the Hijri calendar actually was existing before Islam came. So during the times of the Jahiliyyah, of the Kuffar, they knew the months of the Hijri calendar. They knew Muharram, they knew Ramadan, they knew Rajab, they knew all of these months of the Hijri calendar. But they did not have something called a year in the Hijri calendar. There was no year. They didn't know what year it was. So the way that they used to date things, it used to be by naming the year. So we know that there is something called the Amul Fil, right? The year of the elephant. Does anyone know the story of the year of the elephant? What's the year of the elephant? What happened the year of the elephant? The elephants, they marched to the Kaaba, very good, the Jaysh of Abraha, and there was the whole story there with the Tayran Ababil. So that was the Amul Fil. They named years as the events occurred in those years. There was no year number. So right now we're in year, what? What year are we in right now? 14 45. Very good. So right now we're in 1445, but back then there was no year 1, year 2, year 3. So they only knew the months. They knew Sha'ban, Ramadan, Muharram. There was no year. So when Umar ibn al-Khattab received a letter that was dated in Sha'ban, he said, which Sha'ban is this? Is it Sha'ban of this year? Because back then it also took a long time for letters to go and come back. It was a long distance. There was no texting, there was no emails, there was no USPS that they would send a letter. There was nothing like that. So he wasn't sure which year was that in. So that's the time that he realized, as Muslims, as a nation, for us to become successful and for us to understand what's going on in the order of events, we need years, not only months. So that's when they decided we need to start a year for the Hijri calendar. So now was the question, where do we start this year from? So there was months and there was an order of the months. And the Kuffar actually had a tradition where they changed the order of months. So there was no exact order of months. Which month of the Hijri calendar was month number 1? Which month was number 2? We don't know. Like right now, if we say month number 3 in the Gregorian calendar, we know that's March. Month number 5, we know that's May. But back then, there was no order like that. So they had to figure out a way of where do we start this Hijri calendar from and which event would start the Hijri calendar.